let's make some hair oil for the time of year where our hair needs a little bit of extra support when it's wintry and cold and dry. So the first thing we're gonna do, we need to infuse our carrier oil. I have chosen jojoba oil. We need to infuse that with some rosemary leaves. So what I have here is organic rosemary leaves, and we're going to cover that and then about an inch above with jojoba oil. So let's do that really quick. Okay, there we go. It's not a perfect science. I had about a quarter of this jar with rosemary leaves, and then I added my jojoba oil. You can see down at the bottom, I've got about an inch extra of the jojoba oil. And now we're going to warm infuse that on our stovetop for 2 hours. And be sure to keep an eye on it. If you have a thermometer, like candy thermometer, those work great. We're gonna put that in our oil because we want to watch that temperature. We do not want it to go above about 120. They say 140, but really I'm looking for about 110 to 120 on my oil temperature. So I will keep an eye on that and watch it for the next 2 hours. And then after that, after we have our infused oil, then we can finish the hair oil recipe. So if you're wondering what the difference between a warm infusion and a cold infusion is, if you're thinking to yourself, why does that even matter? It really doesn't. It just depends on your preference. And I just realized that my herb cabinet is open behind me. So there you go. Anyways, a warm infusion is a same day infusion. It's a faster infusion. So you're actually warming your oil to a certain temperature, and it only takes about 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 6 hours, depending on the type of herb that you're using. But you have to be cautious of keeping that temperature below the point where you're gonna degrade your herb and it won't have the same benefits that it would normally have. And there's a possibility of water contamination. You've got an open jar in water, so be cautious of that. A cold infusion is where you would put the herbs, same way, herbs and oil in a jar, but you're gonna put a little in that jar, you're gonna put it in a sunny spot if you have one, and you're gonna shake it every few days, allowing the sun to essentially infuse the oil with the herb. But it's a gentler infusion. If you have 2 to 4 weeks, then by all means, and I have done it that way before. I have plenty of herbs. I've got a, right now, rose hip infusion that is ready. It was actually ready on early October, but I'm just getting to it now today. So I'm gonna strain that today, but that's been sitting in my cabinet for a couple months now. So it just depends on how quickly you need the herb, what you need it for. If you have time to wait for a cold infusion, that is more gentle and safer and not as much risk involved. But I wanna do my hair oil today, so that's why we're doing the warm infusion today. Alrighty, we have infused our jojoba oil with our rosemary, and here's a jar of that. So now we're gonna put that into this little handy dandy pump container that I have. It's about 1 ounce, so it'll be a good amount for me to try out and see if it actually works. But we've infused our jojoba oil with the rosemary. Then we're gonna add that along with some argan oil, some castor oil, a very little bit of castor oil, vitamin E oil, which helps keep it shelf stable, and then a couple different essential oils. And we're gonna stir it all together. I've got it in this little jar here. So we're gonna stir it, and then we're gonna put it in our little pump dispenser and give it a shot. We got the oil, the hair oil, in my little pump dispenser. Isn't that so cute? It's about 1 ounce, filled to about right here, but this should last me long enough to be able to tell if my experiment worked or not. If you are interested in getting the full recipe, just DM me and I'll send it to you. If you want a little 1 ounce pump of this to try with me and you can help me figure out if it's something that works, we can do that. Anyways, I'm super excited. Hair oil experiment for the day is complete, and now I'm gonna go chill out.